Dublin was founded under the Viking sea king Turgesius in 841 AD. Turgesius was captured and killed by Irish High King Maelsecnail in 845 AD. After a period of internal warfare among the Vikings, Aimlaib, the son of the king of Laithland, arrived in Dublin and took over as king of all the Norse in Ireland. Between 853 and 873 AD, Dublin and the rest of the Norse settlements in Ireland were under control and protection of brother co-kings Aimlaib and Imar. The deaths of Aimlaib and Imar around 873 AD left the Norse settlements in Ireland disunited and vulnerable to attacks by coalitions of native Irish kings. In 902 AD, Milfindia MacFlanaccan, king of Brega, and Kerbal MacMaricane, king of Leinster, simultaneously attacked Dublin from the north and south. The Vikings of Dublin were overwhelmed and completely routed. Imar II, the grandson of Imar and the king of Dublin, and all the warrior-class Vikings were driven from Dublin. The surviving Viking warriors escaped to England, Wales, the Scottish Hebrides, or the Isle of Man, or even to France, where they joined the Loire River Vikings. Ireland was free of Viking raids for the next 12 years. Dublin was free of Vikings for 15 years. The story of the Vikings' return to Ireland centers on the identity of a Viking named Ottir, or else three Otters, Ottir MacLurgny, Ottir the Black, and Barad MacOttir, and their relationship, if any. If we remember, King Aimlaib had two brothers, Imar and Osli. We know that Aimlaib murdered Osli during a fight over Aimlaib's wife in 867 AD. Osli had a son, known only as MacOsli, whom the Annals records was murdered in 883 by Ottir MacLurgny and the daughter of Maelsecnail. Irish High King Maelsecnail died in 862 AD, so he had a direct connection to a murder 21 years after his death. We'll assume this Ottir MacLurgny is the same person as Ottir Lala, mentioned in the Chronicon Scotorum. We can assume that Maelsecnail's daughter is Muirgel. We might also speculate that Ottir Lala was Muirgel's husband. No motive is given for MacOsli's murder. We can speculate that Muirgel ordered the murder of MacOsli to avenge some action of Aimlaib or Imar or Osli against her father, High King Maelsecnail. Historian Claire Downham makes many of these same assumptions and speculations. Moving forward in time to 914 AD, and Jarl Ottir the Black and his Vikings were conducting raids in Leinster and Munster. There are no records of where this Jarl Ottir the Black came from or about his family relations. In 914 AD, Jarl Ottir the Black resettled the Viking base in Waterford, Ireland. The founding of the modern city of Waterford, Ireland is considered to be 914 AD, although the Norse had settlements at Waterford dating back to the 850s AD. In 915 AD, Jarl Ottir sent his fleet to reoccupy Limerick in the Shannon estuary. Also in 914 AD, Ragnall Ui Imair, a grandson of Imar, king of Dublin, fought a sea battle just off the coast of the Isle of Man against Barad MacOttir, the king of the Isle of Man. Ragnall Ui Imair's fleet destroyed Barad MacOttir's fleet, and Barad was killed along with many of his men. When the fight was over, Ragnall Ui Imair declared himself the king of the Isle of Man. Barad MacOttir is mentioned only this one time in the Annals of Ulster and only in the Annals of Ulster. Historian Joan Radnor speculates that Ottir MacLurgny and Ottir the Black are the same person. Historian Claire Downham claims the identification of the two men as being the same person is by no means certain. Claire Downham does speculate that Barad MacOttir is the son of Jarl Ottir the Black. This speculation is also uncertain because Jarl Ottir the Black becomes an important ally of Ragnall Ui Imair. Why would Jarl Ottir become an ally of the killer of his son? It may also be that Ottir MacLurgny is not Ottir the Black. Barad MacOttir may be the son of Ottir MacLurgny. Barad MacOttir could also be the son of an altogether unknown Ottir. The written evidence for links between Ottir MacLurgny, Ottir the Black, and Barad MacOttir is scant, and the truth may remain forever unknown. Back in Ireland, Niall Glundub was the son of Aed Finlaith and Mael Muir, the daughter of Kenneth MacAlpin, King of the Scots. Niall Glundub was the leader of the Northern O'Neill clan. In 914 AD, the forces of Niall Glundub defeated the forces led by Angus, the son of Flansinna, the High King of Tara. Angus would die of the wounds he suffered in that battle on February 7, 915 AD. In 915 AD, Donshad and Conchobar, Flansinna's other sons, staged rebellion against their father. It was Niall Glundub who stepped in to force Donshad and Conchobar back into line and keep Flansinna on his throne as High King of Tara. On May 25, 916 AD, Flansinna MacMailshicnail died after 36 years as High King of Tara. Niall Glundub became the new High King of Tara. Ragnall Ui Imair and his cousin Sitric Caech, another grandson of Imar, were probably among the Ui Imair Viking royal family driven from Ireland in 902 AD. In 917 AD, the Vikings returned to Ireland with a vengeance. Ragnall Ui Imair, the King of Man, sailed his fleet to Waterford to claim overlordship of the territories captured by Jarl Ottir the Black. Ragnall Ui Imair may have been Jarl Ottir's overlord all along. At the same time, Ragnall's cousin, Sitric Caech, sailed his own fleet to Ireland and landed on the Leinster coast south of Dublin at an unknown location called Kenfuait. Niall Glundub, High King of Tara, saw the threat of the new Viking incursions by Ragnall Ui Imair and Sitric Caech. Niall Glundub led his forces south and met the forces of Sitric Caech at Magfemin in Brega, County Meath. Niall Glundub was about to defeat the forces of Sitric Caech when Ragnall Ui Imair arrived with his own forces to reinforce Sitric's lines. The Vikings defeated the Irish and Niall Glundub lost the battle. The Vikings returned to Sitric Caech's base at Kenfuait. There, they were attacked by the forces of Ogier Mac-Ellella, King of Leinster. Ogier Mac-Ellella was a distant cousin of Cerbal MacMurachan, the King of Leinster who had driven the Vikings out of Dublin in 902 AD. Ogier Mac-Ellella became King of Leinster when Cerbal died of illness in 909 AD. At the Battle of Kenfuait, or the Battle of Confee, the Vikings soundly defeated the Leinster Irish. King Ogier Mac-Ellella was killed in the battle. The Annals of the Four Masters list over 600 Irish dead, including such prominent Irish leaders as Maelmortar, son of Muirregan, Lord of Eastern Liffey. Also Mugron, son of Kennedig, Lord of the Three Commons and of Los. Also Cynade, son of Tuathal, Lord of the Finiclass. Many other Irish chieftains are listed among the dead. Also among the dead was Archbishop Maelmadhog, Abbot of Glenoshan. After the death of King Ogier Mac-Ellella, Phelan MacMurachan became King of Leinster. After the Battle of Kenfuait, Sitric Caech marched his Viking forces through County Kildare. The Vikings plundered and pillaged as they traveled. Historians believe the Battle of Kenfuait was fought either in Glynn, County Carlow, or in Leixlip, County Kildare. The Norse settled the town of Leixlip, County Kildare, after the Battle of Kenfuait. Sitric Caech was able to march his forces into Dublin and retake the city unopposed. Sitric Caech declared himself King of Dublin shortly thereafter. After a 15-year absence from Dublin, the Vikings were back in charge of the city. As for Ragnall Ui Imair, he took his fleet back to Scotland. In 918 AD, Ragnall and his Viking forces fought the Battle of Corbridge against the allied forces of Constantine II, King of Scots, and Eldred I of Bamberg, ruler of the northern part of Northumbria. Ragnall divided his forces into 4 columns. The Scotch Northumbrian allies were able to destroy Ragnall's first 3 columns. One of Ragnall's columns of warriors was led by Jarl Ottir the Black, who was killed during the battle. Another of Ragnall's columns of warriors was led by his cousin, Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrith of Ivar. Guthfrith survived to become the king of the Dublin Vikings in 921 AD. The Scotch Northumbrian allies were ambushed by Ragnall's 4th column that he had hidden behind a hill. This ambush broke the Scotch Northumbrian force. Though defeated, Constantine II and Eldred I were able to escape with most of their forces intact. The way was clear for Ragnall Ui Imair to move south and capture the city of York. In 919 AD, Ragnall made himself king of Northumbria despite the objections of the Anglo-Saxon king Edward the Elder, as well as many of the Christian Danes in Northumbria who opposed Ragnall's paganism. Back in Ireland, now Glundub, High King of Tara, was gathering allies to drive Sitric Caech and his Vikings out of Dublin. In 919 AD, now Glundub and his coalition of Irish allies met Sitric Caech and his Vikings at Island Bridge, a location within the city limits of modern Dublin. The battle at Island Bridge was an overwhelming victory for the Vikings. Now Glundub, the High King, was killed along with 5 other Irish kings. These kings were Aed MacCococane, king of Ulster, Milmivig MacFlanacane, king of Brega, Milcrabe MacDubshinig of Elgalia, Conchobar MacFlan, king of Meath, and Kelly MacFogarty, king of South Brega. I apologize to the descendants for my mispronunciations of their names. The decisive victory at Island Bridge strengthened Sitric Caech and the Ui Imair's rule of the area around Dublin. Despite the great loss of the Irish, they would continue their war against the Vikings of Dublin. The slain king Conchobar MacFlain's brother, Domchad Don MacFlain became the next High King of Tara. In 920 AD, High King Domchad Don led his army in a battle against the Vikings in County Louth. According to the Annals of Ulster, many Vikings were slaughtered in that battle. The Annals do not say how many Irish died in the battle against the Vikings in Louth. Domchad Don MacFlain spent much of his early years as High King crushing the internal rivalries within his family. In 919 AD, the Annals of Ulster say he had his brother Aed MacFlain blinded. In 921 AD, the Annals of Ulster say he had his second brother, Domhnall MacFlain murdered. The Annals of Ulster passage says, quote, Domhnall, grandson of Maelshicnail, was deceitfully killed by his brother Domchad, which was fitting, unquote. In 928 AD, High King Domchad Don had his nephew, Maelronaid MacConchobar, murdered. Maelronaid MacConchobar was the son of his dead brother, King Conchobar MacFlain. In 941 AD, Domchad Don MacFlain had his second wife, Orlath, murdered. Orlath Injin Kennedy was the sister of Brian Boru of the Dalgas. Orlath was the daughter of Kennedy MacLorcan, king of Thomond. Brian Boru would become High King of Munster in 978 AD and High King of all Ireland in 1002 AD. We are not sure if all Irish kings were so brutal to their own family members. High King Domchad Don MacFlain stands out because his victims are mentioned in the Irish annals. Domchad Don MacFlain would die in 944 AD. His nephew Congalach Canaba would become High King of Tara. Congalach Canaba was the son of Gormlaith Ingin Flansina, the full sister of Domchad Don MacFlain. Domchad Don MacFlain would lead many battles against his Irish neighbors, but no more recorded battles against the Vikings. During Domchad Don MacFlain's reign, Muirtech MacNeill, Muirtech of the Leathercloaks, the king of Ailech and Donegal, led many battles against the Vikings. Muirtech MacNeill was the son of Niall Glundub, the former High King of Tara. Muirtech MacNeill was killed in a battle against Blacair MacGothric, king of the Dublin Vikings, on February 26, 943 AD. In 920 AD, the Irish annals note Sitric Caech's departure from Dublin. Sitric Caech may have been summoned to Northumbria by his ailing cousin Ragnall Ui Imair, king of Northumbria, Waterford, and the Isle of Man. Sitric Caech left his brother or cousin Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrithson of Ivar, to take over as king of Dublin. On his way to meet his cousin Ragnall Ui Imair in York, Sitric Caech led his forces on a raid of Davenport, Cheshire, in Mercia, possibly as a show of defiance against the Anglo-Saxon king Edward the Elder. In 921 AD, one of Gofraid Ui Imair's first acts as king of Dublin was to raid Armagh. The Annals of Ulster say the Vikings of Dublin raided a large area in Northern Ireland. Those Vikings who struck northwards to Mag Ilsen were met and defeated by the forces led by Egnert MacMurchada and Muirtech MacNeill. Muirtech became king of Ailech in 936 AD. In 921 AD, Ragnall Ui Imair died in York, Northumbria. Ragnall's cousin Sitric Caech inherited the kingdom of Northumbria. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle is silent on the actions of Sitric Caech between 921 and 924 AD. The archaeology says that Sitric Caech expanded his realm far south of the Humber River into the old 5 boroughs of the Danelaw. Coins minted in Lincoln during this time have been found bearing Sitric Caech's name. Claire Downham suggests the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle is silent to cover up the weakness of Edward the Elder in the last years of his reign. In 922 AD, Tom Rare MacAlkey, also known as Thora Helgason, sailed up the Shannon River with a Viking fleet from parts unknown. He took over rule of the Norse settlement at Limerick. Tom Rare MacAlkey was the first king of Limerick. Tom Rare MacAlkey was not of the Ui Imair dynasty, and he immediately set up Limerick as a rival to the Ui Imair in Dublin. The Anglo-Saxon king, Edward the Elder, died in July 924 AD. Edward's son Athelstan was crowned king of the Anglo-Saxons on September 4, 925 AD. King Athelstan met with Sitric Caech, king of Northumbria, in January 926 AD at Tamworth in Mercia. They agreed not to attack each other's territories. To seal the peace deal, Sitric Caech converted to Christianity, while Athelstan gave Sitric his sister Edith to be his wife. In 924 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrithson of Ivar, the king of the Dublin Vikings, led his forces on raids in the south of Ireland. He raided Ross Carbery in County Cork and took many hostages or slaves. According to the Annals of Ulster, Gofraid Ui Imair also raided Limerick, but many of the Vikings of Dublin were killed by the Vikings of Limerick, led by Tormrith MacAlkey, the king of Limerick. On September 4, 926 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair's son, Alban, led a raiding party against the town of Lindocail in County Louth. On December 28, 926 AD, the raiders were attacked by the army of Muirtech MacNeill, the leader of the Northern O'Neill, at a bridge called Cluain na Crumthir. Gofraid's son Alban and many of the Dublin Vikings were killed. Half of the Viking raiding party were besieged by an Irish force at Athcrafton in County Down for a week. A Dublin Viking force led by Gofraid himself had to rescue them. Sitric Caech, king of Northumbria, died of unknown causes in 927 AD. Sitric's brother or cousin, Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrithson of Ivar, the king of the Dublin Vikings, sailed with his fleet to take the throne of Northumbria. Gofraid Ui Imair was in Northumbria less than 6 months when he was challenged by Athelstan, king of the Anglo-Saxons. Athelstan seized York and Northumbria. Athelstan's forces easily drove Gofraid and his Vikings back to their ships. With Northumbria firmly in his control, Athelstan was declared King of the English later in 927 AD. He was the first king to hold this title. While he was away in Northumbria, Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrith, gave his authority over Dublin to his sons. The sons of Sitric Caech were angered that they had been cut out of the rule of Dublin. This offense led to a rivalry between the sons of Sitric Caech and the sons of Gofraid Ui Imair or Guthfrith that was to last nearly a decade. The sons of Sitric Caech joined forces with the sons of Helga, likely Tormer MacAlki, the king of Limerick. Together, the sons of Sitric and the son of Helga overthrew the sons of Gofraid and conquered Dublin. Later in 927 AD, when Gofraid Ui Imair returned from Dublin from his loss in Northumbria, he was able to easily overthrow the sons of Sitric and reclaim the throne of Dublin. In 929 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair plundered Kildare. In 930 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair plundered Dunmore Cave in Ballyfoyle, County Kilkenny. Over 1,000 Irish townspeople were killed in the attack on Dunmore Cave. It is suspected that the people might have died of asphyxiation or smoke inhalation when the Vikings used fire in their attempt to drive the people out of the cave. In 931 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair left Dublin for Maghragny in Ossory, where the rival Vikings of Limerick had set up a camp following their failed attack on Connaught the previous year. The annals report that Gofraid's aim was to expel a great-grandson of Imar from Maghragny. The great-grandson of Imar was probably one of the sons of Sitric who had seized Dublin in 927 AD. The sons of Sitric were probably allied with the Limerick-based Tormer MacAlki. We know the rivalry between the Dublin Vikings and the Limerick Vikings continued right up until 937 AD. Aimlaid MacGofraid, also known as Olaf Guthfrithson, King of Dublin, conquered Limerick in 937 AD. We know the lineage of the kings of Dublin fairly well. The lineage of the kings of Limerick are shadowy, uncertain, and far less documented than those of the kings of Dublin in the Irish Annals. We know that Tormer MacAlki re-established Limerick in 922 AD as a Viking base for raiding further up the Shannon River. The Irish Annals mention a Viking named Colley MacBarrad was called the Lord of Limerick as early as 924 AD. Colley MacBarrad may have ruled Limerick when King Tormer was out raiding. Alternatively, King Tormer may have sent Colley MacBarrad to raid further up the Shannon River in his stead. We believe that Tormer MacAlki was still alive in 928 AD. In that year, Tormer is said to have led raids on Lough Neagh. Tormer is said to have died of insanity in or about 929 AD. Colley MacBarrad is speculated to be the son of Barrad MacOdor. If we remember, Barrad MacOdor is the king of the Isle of Man, whom Ragnall Ui Imair defeated and killed in 914 AD to make himself the king of Isle of Man. By 933 AD, Limerick was under the rule of King Aimlaib Kincarrick, also known as Olaf the Sinful Head. The Annals of the Four Masters say that Olaf the Sinful Head led an attack in Lough Ree against the clan of the Ui Main. In 937 AD, the Annals of the Four Masters also mention a raid on the church of Kilcleef, County Down at the mouth of the Strangford Lough by a Viking named MacBarrath. MacBarrath could be a relative of Colley MacBarrad, the late king of Limerick who died in 932 AD. The Irish Annals do describe the relationship of Aimlaib Kincarrick, or Olaf the Sinful Head, the king of Limerick, to his predecessors Tormer MacAlki and Colley MacBarrad. We must rely on the Irish Annals, as the Limerick Vikings wrote nothing of their own history. In 934 AD, Gofraid Ui Imair, or Guthfrith, died of a sickness. His son, Olaf Guthfrithson, succeeded him as King of Dublin. By this time, Olaf Guthfrithson was an experienced warrior. It is likely that Olaf had been on many raiding campaigns with his father and brothers, and he probably led many raids of his own. In 935 AD, Olaf Guthfrithson led the Dublin Vikings on a raid of Lagor Crannog in Loch Gabir in County Meath. A week later, Olaf and his men looted the ancient burial chamber at Knowth, just west of Drogheda in the Boyne Valley of County Meath. In 937 AD, Olaf Guthfrithson ended the rivalry between the Dublin Vikings and the Limerick Vikings by capturing Annlib Kennakerrick, also known as Olaf the Sinfulhead, king of the Limerick Vikings. The Dublin Vikings and the Limerick Vikings fought a naval battle on Lough Ree, the second large lake on the Shannon River. During the naval battle, the Dublin Vikings beat the Limerick Vikings after, quote, breaking their ships, unquote. Among those captured was Olaf the Sinfulhead, king of the Limerick Vikings. Tradition has it that Olaf Guthfrithson, king of Dublin, was able to compel or recruit Olaf the Sinfulhead and his Limerick Vikings on his invasion of Northumbria later in 937 AD. Olaf Guthfrithson must have been very charismatic. Under Olaf Guthfrithson, the Vikings in Ireland were united. I shall recount Olaf Guthfrithson's invasion of Britain and the events leading to the Battle of Brunanburh in a future video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my video and would like to help me make similar content, please hit like and subscribe.